Hey, by the way, I just shot a whole video where I was pointing my camera at the table, my iPhone. It's right here. But I didn't hit the start button, so the whole video is useless. Watch the video anyway and just, it's our little inside joke. The other day, I unboxed my Shure SM7B and my cloud lifter. I've already posted that somewhere. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed in the, I guess, the clarity. No, I wouldn't even call it the clarity. I'd say it's more an issue with the overall noise floor. Now, I'm not in my whisper room right now on purpose. That's only part of the problem. Essentially, what I'm looking at now is I think it may be that I need a little more gain. At least that's my guess. I'm recording and piping through my sound with a Zoom H6, which does have the cloud lifter to give it an additional 20, and I've got the zoom at between 4 and 5. Anyhow, long story short, as if I haven't stretched this thing too much, I decided to try a couple new gadgets. One, I'm going to try a low-cost preamp, and that is, this one is a Tube MP Studio. This is a tube microphone preamplifier. This is only $50 in a place like Guitar Center right now. For what it's worth, I'm going to unbox that now and try it out. I've also ordered a DBX 286S. It's a $200 unit. That's not just a preamp, but it has all sorts of other effects. I'm going to try that in a future video. But for now, I want to see what happens if I take, just to try to get rid of that noise floor. Now, by the way, for the record, my air conditioner is on right now. So that's part of the noise floor. But even when the air conditioner is not there, I'm not completely comfortable with the levels I'm getting. For what it's worth, you want to keep your levels as low as possible to eliminate noise. So the cloud lifter allows me to keep my zoom at only 4 or 5, which is much better than pushing it at 10. So pushing that high hurts. So I figure, what if I give it a stronger signal to start with? And hence the tube, the ART, it's called, what is it called? An ART. That's Applied Research and Technology Tube MP Studio, that is. Tube microphone preamplifier. Now, some people use them for other things, but I'm going to use them for this. Now, I'm actually opening it right now for the first time, although, to be honest with you, it never had a seal, so I really don't, can't call this a true unboxing, although it is, because I have not yet tinkered with this thing. And this is how it comes packaged, with no tape to cut whatsoever. So, for what it's worth, you open her up, and inside is very poorly packaged, because for what it's worth, while it was still closed, just for the record, of course this probably has no indication of the actual quality of the product, but for what it's worth, when this thing is closed, it bounces around. They don't have much packaging on here, which is kind of funny considering the fact that there is a glass tube inside. You'd figure with a little glass you'd have to have some, whatever. So that's how they package it. It's just a cardboard box, and then we have our unit itself in a bubble wrap, which I guess is their way of compensating for what they've done, the way they've packaged that. We have the, actually my iPhone might have a better view of it. So there's the tube itself, the Tube MP player. Then inside of there we have our booklet. We got that. And then there's another little compartment with a 9-volt adapter. And from what I understand, it's an AC adapter. You have to use theirs. The booklet is the booklet. I will look at the booklet, as always, only if we can't figure it out. So let's toss that on the side, and let's see what this is like. What I may do is just pause this. For what it's worth, maybe it'd be a good idea to pause it, just so that you don't have to hear me unplug and plug things in. And, of course, being that this is a tube-based unit, you do have to let it warm up. For those of you that are a certain age, you may remember when everything had to be warmed up. You turned your television on, you had to wait for them to warm up. That's because they had tubes in them. Tubes don't really work well until they get a little bit of heat on them. They need to warm up about a minute or so. So I am going to give this thing some power, and I'm going to let it warm up. Maybe I could do that while we're still running the camera. What do you say there, huh? Let's toss our box out of the way. Whee! All right, get that out of there. A little garbage. get that out of the shot, get that out of the shot, get our little cardboard box out of the shot. I have a power adapter right over yonder. And our first job is to power the unit. Turn it on. It's already lit up. And that, of course, doesn't give you any indication. Oh, it does give you an indication of possibly something going on. A light went on, which says power equal green, clip is equal to red. Okay, we have our dials there. I have the cloud lifter plugged into my H6, so I'm going to need another cable. And for what it's worth, I have a brand new cable. And this is probably going to get a little noisy, so excuse me if it's too loud, which is the whole idea of the thing. Of course, maybe I'd want to put my headset on too, but hey, what the heck. Start with the basics. All right, so we have our female end here. Let's see our back for our input. Let's see, how do I want my chain to go? I would want yes, this is what I want. I want the output from this to go into my zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my testing nothing. Oh, something happened. Okay. There was a brief pause, and now what I'm going to do is get some gain. Okay, I think what happened there was not to be. Of course, I had no sound going for a little while, so that was the best I could do. So for what it's worth, the first thing I had to do is turn on my phantom power. So the phantom power is on. I then had to give the mic some gain from the preamp. So let's give it some gain. In fact, let me go and give it the plus 20 dB boost. Whoa, there's a lot of gain going on here. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, the output setting, I'm going to put it at essentially the neutral position, 0. I'm not going to add or subtract from it. I have got a lot of gain going on here. In fact, the VU meter is useless, by the way, because right now it's pinned at the X. So that's possibly too much. But if I go down too much, I do hear the buzz. That's the tube sound. And that's no good. But I could pad that up and bring down the zoom. So there's a yin-yang thing going on there. We do have the cut option, OPL out. That's a cut, and there's a phase. The phase thing, you know what? It sounds... Does it sound about... No, it sounds a little different on the phase. In fact, for what it's worth, I think I like it better with the phase in the reverse mode. Maybe it's a minor thing, but anyhow, I've got almost every button. In fact, I have all 4 buttons down right now. My gain on the art is pretty high, considering I pushed the plus 20 already. We can adjust our microphone just a little bit here. That would maybe be a little better for me and for the home viewer there. So for what it's worth, the art MP is now cranking out quite a bit. In fact, I'm going to go all the way. It's at a plus 40. And the zoom, for what it's worth, I can get pretty far, and the zoom is at like between 1 and 2. And that's definitely a clipping range. In fact, I'm getting a clipping indicator on the art. So there's definitely something going on there. There's our phase button again. So I'm going to bring that, I'm clipping. Oh, that's what the OPL is doing, is blocking those. Now we're center position. Let's stay center for what it's worth. Center on both. So I'm at center on both. And I'm going to try doing the usual start from the bottom. And I know you may not be able to hear this, but it's I hear something. Now I brought the input up. The output, I gave myself a negative. I'm in negative territory here. And with it in negative territory, I'm going to try to bring the zoom up a little. The zoom is between 2 and 3. So if nothing else, what I'm learning here is that by giving the Shure SM7B a little more power, I have a lot more room, an awful lot more room. In fact, I'm going to try to bring it up high, and of course I won't talk much because that's going to really get us into some major clipping territory, but I'm going to bring it up and then just whisper. I'm at a 4. I get a lot of noise, but I'm between 4 and 5, and I'm hitting plus 12, or minus 12 that is. Okay, I'm going to have to take my headset off and get really far from the microphone. And I'm only at a 5. It's really noisy. My air conditioner's here. Of course, I should be in the whisper room for this because I'm whispering. That's true. Okay, the output is on the negative side. I don't even want to think what it'd be like if I put it on the positive side. I could bring it down. It's at 25%. The input is at 50% on the gain. So it's a 5 here, a 5 or 50% here, and 50% of the negative on the output. So there's a lot of gain to play with here. I'm going to bring the zoom down. Okay, the zoom is at 3 now. I'm still getting that noise floor. Yes. But I think some of that noise floor is actual noise. So the whisper room would be a great test for this next. So the noise it's picking up may in fact be the real noise in the room, which is fine. I mean, if you're going to get noise, let it be legitimate noise at that. So I'm at a 3. I like the fact that I can keep my zoom at a 3, so I'm not stressing the preamp on the zoom, the H6. And I do have a lot of room to play here. I'm at green. The VU meter, by the way, I might be able to pick this up on my iPhone. The VU meter is, it doesn't budge. It's always in the red, for what it's worth. It's always on the red X, as a matter of fact, for what it's worth. Again, I have the plus 20 engaged. I'm going to try bringing this up. Now I have it on the... Okay, I'm going to go all the way. All right, that's crazy. I'm at plus 40. I'm going to bring the zoom down to like a 1. Okay, the zoom is at a 1. I could actually talk to it now. Now it's almost at a 2. It's clipping on the VU meter on this. There. Now the preamp, the preamp does not like to be that high. So the preamp does give me red indicators. So for the bottom line here is, if you put a tube preamp in here, it seems to me, and by the way, I'm going XLR to XLR. That probably isn't the best way to do this. The more optimum way to handle this would probably be to go XLR in the input from the cloud-lifted Shure SM7B, and then go line out on there, and then use a line-in level here, and not monkey around too much with other things. So, am I happy? Yes. I could play a little bit more. I have a lot more room. The input, I could probably take out the plus 20, and now it's very low. Then I crank it up again. So for what it's worth, I like the plus 20. Whoa. But then I don't need to bring it more than 50% of that way. In fact, 50% doesn't give me any clipping there. Of course, the VU meter, again, is not budging. It's always in the red. Don't know where and why it does that. The output, I'm still at only 50%. Let's put it at true zero. See, then I get that buzz. The buzz is back. The buzz is back. It seems to me I have to lower the output a certain amount. And there's a little tinkering. I'm at 50% of the output. And by 50% of the output, zero is 50% of the dial. 50% of the negative is where I'm at now. So you could do the math there. So if I'm at that, I'm at, this is, I guess, if it's plus 10 at the maximum, and that would be zero. I guess that's, I don't know what that would be. Minus 5. Yeah, that would be minus 5. They should label it, but that's what that is. Minus 5, because it would be 0, 9, minus 5, excuse me, nothing. That's why I have a little affinity symbol. That would be minus 5, and then 0, and then plus 5, plus 10. That's what the output is all about. So I do have some reservations about the overall quality. I like the fact that I'm only at a 2, and between 2 and 3, and I don't really get much noise. I can bring it up to a 4 or 3. This is 3.5, and I can really get far. I'm getting noise. I'm getting background noise. And for what it's worth, background noise is fine if that happens to be what your problem is in the room. You need to have a quiet room. I'm not in a quiet room right now. I have a whisper room, but I'm unboxing it at my table. I want to just see what it's like, giving it a real torture test here. It'd be interesting to see what this will do with other microphones that already have some gain. It'll be also super interesting when I start mixing combinations of Cloud Lifter, Tube, PreAmp, Zoom H6, and my next toy, which is arriving on Tuesday, the DBX 286S. That's going to be my signal processor, PreAmp, $200. Just going to be a great thing. So stick around.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You and I, we kind of get along so well. We should meet one day. I mean, we've talked about it a dozen times by now. Yeah, why not? A little, we'll go out to a movie or something like that. How's that sound? Oh, I should just let you know, by the way, the pictures of my profile, they're not exactly accurate. The muscles you saw in the pictures, I photoshopped them in. Yeah, I know. And the head, I'm not good at Photoshop, so I left the head on it. Yeah. No. Well, how about coffee? Oh, hey, sorry. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I hope you liked the video, yada, yada, yada. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, hit the bell, make sure everybody sees it, share it with your friends, and thanks for watching.